Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. I am here with Tiffany Williams, and she is a professional organizer, and she specializes in a really interesting topic that I know you guys have brought up on a multiplicity of occasions. It's a frustrating topic because there's a lot of misunderstanding about it, and that's ADHD and clutter. And
Mhm.
so today we're going to have that conversation and we're going to unpack some of the frustrations that we run into. And maybe we're going to come to some solutions today. But one thing I know for sure is that with Tiffany's expertise, we're going to start looking at the world a tiny bit differently than maybe we did earlier today. So please help me welcome Tiffany Williams.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
So I'm curious if you will share with us
Sure.
some of the experiences that you've had in your journey with ADHD. What is it? And let's just unpack that a little bit and then take a look at how maybe we can start recognizing it if we either have those tendencies in our own lives or if we've actually been diagnosed with ADHD and then what we can do about it.
ADHD is a diagnosis in the DSM-5. It has to do with a different way of wiring in the brain. It impacts executive functioning for clients affected with ADHD. And so, as a professional organizer, I see lots of different ways that might display in the home in someone's life. And so, I can talk a little bit about what that looks like in my professional experience when working with clients if you would like. Absolutely. I would say for anyone that's interested in finding out some more information about ADHD, there are a multitude of resources available via websites and ebooks, audiobooks, regular books. And they do actually have quite a bit of comprehensive books based off of a child potentially that has ADHD. They have books specifically for women with ADHD and how menopause might affect ADHD in women, and then just a multitude of other kinds of resources in books. So I just posted a blog last week that has about 25 books and resources like Attitude, which is a magazine and also an online website that has a slew of information that you can go and look, and it'll actually has some assessments on it where you can do a self assessment tool. And they even have some therapists that specialize with ADHD. They have some groups, that sort of thing. So if you would like, you're welcome to join on our blog because there are quite a few resources there if you'd like to find some more information. And
And how
that's
do we find your blog? Is that
oh,
on your website?
it's on my website. Yep, there you go. And then if you just go to the blog section, I have my most recent is ADHD and Clutter. And on there is a list with links for all different kinds of resources that you can follow up, whether it be someone that feels that they might be affected with ADHD, if someone has been diagnosed and they'd like to learn more information. And then there's also books specifically for family that are trying to support someone affected with ADHD.
Well, give us an overarching view. Is it like people bouncing off the walls or starting tasks that they don't finish? Or what are some of the basic symptoms that many people who have heard the term would go, oh, yes, that's me, or I know somebody like that?
So, ADHD has two components. There's the inattentive type of ADHD, which is more of a quiet kind of ADHD. When you read some of the books based off of women in ADHD, a lot more women are considered to be more of the quieter type of ADHD because of social restrictions, if you will. And then you think of the stereotypical ADHD hyperactive of a little boy, just like you're saying, right? Bouncing around all the time. Sometimes it's a difficulty staying on task. Sometimes it's difficulty having initiation for a non preferred task, which is some of the things that I see with clients. And so it really, one person with ADHD is one person, but there are some components of both inattentive as well as the hyperactive that are kind of across the board. Staying on task is definitely a difficulty. And part of the reason why it's helpful for somebody like me that specializes in chronic disorganization as well as clients affected with ADHD is I'm coming in to anchor you, and we want to figure out the steps that we need to take to reach your goal. Sometimes with executive functioning, we know what the goal is, but we have no idea how to get there. And
Mhm.
so let's talk about the steps that we need to take in order to get there. And when we get distracted or we're thinking about something else in the moment, we need to revisit back. Okay, so today our goal is X. So this is that part of the steps that we need to take in order to get to accomplish that goal or to get closer to that goal. And if it's not, then maybe let's write it down somewhere, do a sticky note, and we can revisit that later and add that to a goal that we can work on at another time. But unfortunately, when we have sparkly, shiny things, or to be honest, there's a in our society, there's a lot of things pulling us all the time. And if we have set aside 4 hours and this is our goal, then maybe an email that comes in on the phone or a text message, if it's not important, if it's not an emergency, we can get to that later. Right now is the time that we're going to work on what is important to you while I'm here with you. And we're going to get you closer to what your goal is.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. This has been so fascinating.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. I
Yes,
appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to everybody that showed up. Thank you so much, Tiffany. And thank you guys
welcome.
for showing up. This was awesome.